Welcome to TW Sports Talk, and it's quickly becoming that time of year again. The NFL is on its way back. We're in the midst of training camp right now. Eagles training camp. Um, we have a a rather interesting quarterback battle between primarily Michael Vick and Nick Foles here for the Philadelphia Eagles, and to a lesser extent Matt Barkley, but Matt Barkley has stated last week that this is no two-man race. This is he's and not to count him out, but the way it's shaping up is that Nick Foles, the other day, the first day of where all the starters, um, everyone was at training camp. Michael Vick and Nick Foles took equal reps with the starters. They were actually throwing passes, side by side of each other. And, there's been, yeah, a lot of people who are, this situation is, rather polarized. I mean, it seems, you got one camp that, once Nick Foles, this new quarterback that they got last year, that they think they showed promise, in the string of games that he was a part of, and and then you got Michael Vick, um, who he has a threat. He is a threat to run. To carry the football. Um, but people, they question his ability to perhaps stay healthy. They question his efficiency, and that's certainly understandable. Given the decline that he seemed to have had the past couple of years. Um, it's I mean, 2010 now was 3 years ago when Michael Vick had a potentially MVP caliber season. Um, but the past couple of years, a lot of people have questioned his ability. He's been turning the ball over a very high amount, and people question that. But I think what a lot of people are missing in this whole quarterback battle um, is that whichever guy they go with, this whole whoever's the quarterback this year, this year is the way I see it is a extended preseason to the 2014 season. That's the way I look at it. Um, because chances are, I think they're fairly slim. That the Eagles are not gonna make the playoffs. Now, if they're competing, if they're in there in playoff contention as the season progresses, then that's fine. If they make the playoffs, or they win 8 games or more, they exceed my expectations. That's great. I'm not gonna sit here and say, just tank the season. Um, you go out there and you try to win football games. Um, and I think Chip Kelly, with what he has, that's what I think he intends on doing. And and the thing is, at the end of the day, though, I mean, this is Chip Kelly's first year here coaching in the NFL with this Eagles franchise coming off of a 4-12 year. Last year's disasters, obviously, they got a long way to build up from. But I mean, by 2014, by next season, who knows? They could definitely very well be a playoff contender. But this year they get a pass no matter what to me. Unless they go 4-12 again, I'm not going to be concerned. If they win 6 or 7 games, I see them winning 7 games, maybe 8. I mean, I don't know. It depends on. Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts here. Um, but if they win 7 games, I mean, the realist in me is not gonna you know, be held up over that. I mean, if they go to the playoffs, if they almost get to the playoffs, great. Um, you want everybody to give 100%. You want them to try to make the playoffs. But at the end of the year, if they don't make, if they don't make the moves necessary or whatever, if it falls up, if they're looking good, then it falls apart at the end of the year, and they miss, then that's fine. It's the first year of a rebuilding process here. Um, and like I said, to me, it's an extended, a super preseason to the 2014 season. That's how I like to treat it. Now, if they make the playoffs, it's different. Then you do what you can to win or whatever. But at the end of the day, you know, this season, it's not like they have to make the playoffs. Chip Kelly's obviously not on the hot seat, so and they got a lot of moving parts. They're rooting, they're trying to root a new system on defense, and with this quarterback battle, um, you got the whole thing of Chip Kelly wanting to use his trademark offense, and that was one of the main factors in hiring him in the first place. His trademark read option offense, and the thing is with this, going back to this quarterback battle, um, Nick Foles, by no stretch of the imagination, he's not the kind of guy that's going to run the read option. Um, because he's not a threat to run. The point of the read option offense is that you have a quarterback who can be a threat to run. And other teams, they know they know that Nick Foles, if Nick Foles is in there, they know he's not going to, tuck the ball and run. So it's not, you know, Michael Vick, on the other hand, that there is that potential. So nobody's going to be fooled if they have Nick Foles in there. They know he's not going to tuck the ball and run. People want to say, oh, how last year, he had that one run against Tampa Bay for a touchdown. And the thing with that touchdown, people want to get excited who want to see Nick Foles start this year. He ran the ball because everyone in the defense was on the other side of the field, and you could, I mean, you could have timed Nick Foles with a calendar at at that point. I mean, running the ball and to the end zone. So that's a rare situation. That was that was by instinct he decided to do that. That's a different situation than the read option offense. So let's look at it that way. Um, Michael Vick, if they have him start, you know, not only can he run the read option offense. Then I mean that's his trademark offense. His Chip Kelly's trademark. Not only can they run that, but he potentially may give them a better chance of winning games. Now we don't totally know that yet. Um, as it stands right now, though. I mean, Vic's been a pro quarterback for a while. Quite a while now. He's 33. Um, he's got experience. The question is whether or not Nick Foles does enough here in the preseason and the training camp um, to prove that that he's got quite the ability to be a good quarterback in this league. And if Chip Kelly sees that, if they decide that he does have the potential, then and that they can build off of him, and that he can be a quarterback that can perhaps make him a contender, then I guess you can go with Nick Foles. But based on based off of last year, I don't he had a couple good moments, but he also had a couple bad games. So it's questionable, and it's up to Chip Kelly right now to decide, in the next month, whether or not Nick Foles can really be a good quarterback in this league. Because if he's not, he's not going to run the read option offense. Um, I mean, what is he suddenly gonna, you know, cut his 40 time down by, an entire half second or what? Because otherwise he's not going to be running the read option offense, and I would think that's what Chip Kelly wants to do in the long run. So I think the whole point of having Vic, re-sign this year, having him around, which is most likely I think who will go with, um, at the end of the day, then it's like a transitional year here, because next year they may be in position to get a new young quarterback who can run the read option offense. Um, Now this year, I mean, if Vic does start, he might get banged up, or he might lose the job. He might be benched because of inefficiency. But I think it's more likely that Vic will get hurt, and then or banged up, and then somebody else comes in. Um, and that raises the question of whether or not they keep Dixon or not. Because Barkley's not going to run the read option offense, um, and obviously Nick Foles isn't. So somebody's going to have to go, obviously, between these four. And but if they keep Vic, would it not make if they're going to go to the season with Vic as the starter, would it not make sense um, to have Dixon stay around just so he can run the read option offense? Um, because then that would keep, to me, the way I see it, that would keep the rest of the offense, and including backups, including second and third stringers, um, that would keep the rest of the offense continuing to work in this offense, continuing to work in this playbook, and gel essentially. Um, and that would be good for the 2014 season, because, like I said, you know, you want to win football games this year, obviously, but he's going to get a pass um, this year, Chip Kelly, the Eagles. So, at even if they don't do well this season, I mean, they still got to think about the future. Um, and obviously, I would think that Chip Kelly wants to run his Oregon offense, as many refer to it, and like I said, if they're in a position next year to draft a quarterback that can run that offense, then you bet your bottom dollar that's what they're gonna do. And like I said, if all these all the offense, all the other offensive players, I think would benefit, for the future, if they have a quarterback who's running the read option offense, because unless Nick Foles or Matt Barkley prove that they can be an elite quarterback in this league, or good quarterback at least, um, then then maybe the Chip Kelly decides, well, they can't run the read option offense, but we can win games. We can be a good team with this guy under center, whichever guy it would be. But having said that, um, still, Michael Vick might end up being the starter as it is, unless these guys prove something. So if they do go with Vick, um, the way I look at it is that the rest of the team can hopefully, they'll pick up on the read option offense, and moving forward, they may potentially, if they're in position to, which they very well could be,
Draft a option quarterback who can run the Chip Kelly offense in the future. Um, and that raises the question of whether or not they keep Dixon or not. But that we'll wait and see. Um, from what I heard, Chip Kelly is, as the preseason games come along, they're gonna be more definitive in, who's the starting quarterback and this and that, which is good, because you need
you need to establish a sense of chemistry with, and a sense of, okay, this guy is our starting quarterback. Um, even though this season again is most likely not a playoff season, not a year of contention, it's still important nevertheless. You still want to establish, a sense of unity and chemistry between these guys. You still want everyone to go out and give it 100% this year, um, and be enthused about the future, even if it's not going to be a playoff year, and most likely it won't again. So they, that's what it's about. Um, they all got to go out and give it their all, and you know there's less sense of a bonds and unity when they do not have a clear cut quarterback. Um, even in the preseason. So we'll see how it plays out. Um, but it, I mean, yeah, I mean, certainly it's going to be interesting to see how these preseason games play out. But I think there's a slight benefit in the long run if you have if Michael Vick ends up being the guy. Um, if both guys, are 50, if Chip Kelly's 50-50 on both of these guys, um, which right now it seems, I get the impression that that's how he is right now, with them, then I still think there's an advantage in having Vic be the quarterback, for the upcoming season. And then, if he gets hurt, I don't know if they're going to keep Dixon around. If he gets, if Vic were to start and he gets hurt and then Nick Foles comes in, I whatever, I guess. I mean, maybe Foles will, light it up. I mean, I don't know, but um, chances are, you know, I think they're Vic and Foles either way you go. I mean, it's kind of 50-50, but again, Vic has that read option, advantage that, if they could run this season, and then next year in the draft, they draft somebody, um, who can run the off, because they may very well be positioned, then I think that's what they should do. So, that's that. We'll wait and see how things play out. You know, the, they've put the pads on this past weekend. Here at training camp, so we're hearing, back to the grind here. And from what I heard yesterday, Tim McManus, 97.5. He's a reporter for the Eagles, for 97.5 The Fanatic. He saw he saw Chip Kelly doing, having the offense with Vic and Foles, and he said that Foles had the highlight play of the day. Um, it was I think a deep fade, to Deshaun Jackson, and Deshaun Jackson came up with like a circus catch along the sidelines, and so Vic, or Foles had from what I hear, he had a slight edge in his performance, over Vic the other day at training camp. So will it mean anything? I mean, who knows? But it's definitely an intriguing quarterback competition. We'll have to see going forward how it plays out, and especially with the first preseason first preseason game, right around the corner. So we'll look forward to that certainly, and discuss more here on TW Sports Talk, um, with that in mind. So thanks for tuning in, and again, just ask that you would continue to stay tuned here for TW Sports Talk. Is we're offering here, some good, some good talk, and happy to talk about anything that you may have in mind. And of course, I want to note, if you haven't heard already, it's kind of somewhat breaking news, but well, either way, it's news. As of yesterday, Jeremy Maclin unfortunately suffered a torn ACL in his right knee, so he's out for the season. So I mean, that's I mean, again, not like we're really truly contending for a playoff spot, at least as we see it from here. But unfortunate loss either way. It seems like uh, Riley Cooper is kind of filling that void right now. They also got Johnson, who might be so you know um, unfortunate loss, but Macklin um, he tweeted that he next year he said it's a minor setback that'll lead to a major comeback. So obviously big loss, but he's positive that he'll come back next year and hopefully put on a big season. But yeah, I mean it's unfortunate that he won't play at all this year. But you know again the team will just have to move on, work with what they got, and that's pretty much that. Um, Riley Cooper probably may see a lot of action this year, I guess. Um, so, again, that'll wrap it up for this edition of TW Sports Talk. This Eagles training camp edition, as it's that time of the year again already. August is right around the corner. Um, we're gonna start seeing some preseason football games in the matter of days, and that's definitely some exciting exciting news there. So again, encourage you to stay tuned here on TW Sports Talk and subscribe and support this channel. Um, and offer any feedback or suggestions of how um, maybe we can improve here. TW Sports Talk. Um, and Great Wrestling Debate if you tune into that as well. So I would encourage, you know, that kind of support or feedback of any kind here on the channel. And thank you again for tuning in to this edition of TW Sports Talk.